Welcome back to the Crucible with Jeff Marshall. As I always say, another phenomenal episode. Today on the Crucible, we're joined by a powerhouse in telecom industry, a leader who spent more than 25 years transforming operations, building high-performing teams, and driving meaningful change across one of the biggest names in the business. Rocco Laurenzano, appreciate you being here.
My pleasure, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We are going to take a moment and read your bio. Just take it all in. Try not to shrink in the frame, which I don't know if you can, man. So Rocco Laurenzano is the Chief Operating Officer. I'm sorry, let me repeat that. Rocco Laurenzano is the Chief Operations Officer at G-Fiber, where he brings operational rigor, strategic focus, and accountability to enterprise-level initiatives that shape the future of connectivity. Before joining G-Fiber, Rocco served as a Senior Vice President and General Manager of Suddenlink at Altice USA, leading operations across 17 states and managing service for 1.5 million customers. That's major scale, and he handled it all with precision. Earlier in his career, Rocco was tapped to launch Time Warner Cable's first ever change management group, a role where he introduced operational excellence to the project management function. He oversaw $500 million in capital projects annually, led a 60-person corporate PMO, and implemented the first system-wide process for delivering enterprise-wide customer solutions. That move played a major part in improving both operational and financial performance for TWC. He's also held executive roles at Charter Communications as South Regional Vice President of Field Operations and at Insight Communications as the SVP of Central Operations. Rocco earned his Bachelor of Science in Management of Technology from Rensselaer. Am I saying that right?
Rensselaer
Polytechnic Institute, and he now calls Pennsylvania home, where he lives with his wife, daughter, and son. He's been in the trenches. He's led from the top, and today he's here to share a story of transformation. This is the Crucible, and this is Rocco Laurenzano. Welcome.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Great to be here. It's always flattering to be asked. I still have a touch of imposter syndrome when I'm like, who wants to hear my story? Like, why? Like, why would you want to hear me talk about something like this, good or bad? So it's always very flattering to get these invitations, and I really appreciate being here.
Oh, no, absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming. And the interesting thing about that, first of all, the imposter syndrome is real in all of us. But believe it or not, there's always somebody that your story is going to impact. You know, I'm a big believer in your story is not even really for you. You go through it, but it's really so someone else can kind of get to it. So with that in mind, I'm going to give you some space, man. Tell me about your crucible moment that you chose to talk about today.
Yeah, look, from your first email inviting me here, it was a few days of torture. So, I mean, just so you know what you're asking of people, go back through your life and dig up one of the more painful moments that you've had, right? And then come here and tell a bunch of people you've never met about it. Yeah. So, just so you know what you're asking of people.
I say
right?
please and thank you.
You did say please and thank you, but like the first couple of days after receiving that email, I was like, oh man, I've had a lot of moments, right?
Yes.
And especially when you look at it through the eyes of, you know, things that didn't go well or failures. And I was like, well, we lost our high school championship football game. Like, kind of could talk about that, but I was like, I don't think that's what we're here to talk about, right? But the you know, in summary, like, I think we all walk around with a lot of moments and a lot of things, especially if you're looking at anybody who's achieved any level of success. We all have a lot of baggage, right? And I commend you for inviting people here to talk about theirs. After thinking long and hard for a couple of days, I wanted to tell a story that is definitely, you know, I've had a lot of failed things in life, but I haven't had a lot of crucible moments, and I took very much to heart how you've branded this. And I have a crucible moment. It sticks with me. I think about it every day, and it's a real intersection of my professional life and my personal life, and how blurry that gets at times. So, a little bit of backstory, if I can. I'll try to keep it brief.
No, this is your time.
Thank you. I come out of college, I'm having a good career working my way up, but spend the first 6-7 years as a little fish in big ponds, right? Working at one point for the biggest phone company, the biggest cable company, right? And I'm happy, they're taking care of me. But then at around between year 7 and year 8, I get my big break, right? And now I'm actually in a small to medium pond, but I'm a decent sized fish in that pond. And I wind up having 7 just fantastic years there, right? It's where I earned a lot of my reputation. It's where I've met present day my mentor in business. I've made a lot of friends there. It also happens to be the time where I got married, had kids, right? And that company very successfully built up, and then, as was always the plan, sold, and then, did fine, had to find another job, kind of go back into a medium-sized pond, maybe as a medium-sized fish, right? But all things are going well, plugging away. Now you're at year maybe 12, 13 in the career, right? Maybe 13, 14, moved to South Carolina. Then I get the phone call. This is the phone call I've been waiting, arguably, 15 years to get, right? The thing you dream about. Hey, I'm in South Carolina now. Again, medium fish in a bigger pond, right? Working for the, I think, 6th largest cable company in the United States. I get the call from my mentor that I met at the last job.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a big job. I'm going to be the number 2 person at the number 2 cable company in the United States. I want you. You're going to be my first hire. Office in the middle of New York City, right? This is it. This is my dream.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we're talking office overlooking Central Park. We're talking, articles in trade magazines profiling you, right? Big money, big title, big responsibility. I want, this is it. I've made it. This is big fish, big pond.
Yeah.
Right? So in a whirl, my wife packs up the house, gets our toddlers ready to move. We're, by the way, going home, right back to New York, where I'm from. And it's just the most exciting anticipation, right? About 3 weeks to get resigned from the old job, get packed up, move up there. We have an allowance for housing, right? I mean, this is gold-plated, right?
Yeah.
This is as good as it gets in business. And the moving truck moves up. We rent this beautiful townhouse in Weehawken facing Manhattan on the river. Have always dreamed, could never afford of living there. It's the day we're moving, right? We're standing there, my wife, the kids, we're in an empty house. The moving truck just pulls up. My boss-to-be, my mentor, he's like, hey, when you have a minute, give me a call. I call him up, and he goes, before you see it on the news channels tomorrow, I want you to know we just agreed to sell the company. And I can't explain how all this great feelings of anticipation and excitement and frankly just getting your big break. This is the big break I've always wanted. And in a phone call, it just drains out of my feet. Now, luckily, because they're a upstanding company, and my boss, of course, was an upstanding person. He's like, but come, start. So I'm gonna go to work, but there's a clip.
You already know.
You know all that. I'm expecting to be there 10 years.
Yeah.
I could imagine all the, big roles I'm gonna do and all the things I'm gonna be a part of, and I'm like, no, in a year, this thing's toast.
Yeah.
Right? And I just left a great job. Yeah. moved my family, and I'm like, maybe that, like, this was the moment, and now I'm gonna miss my moment.
Oh.
And I fell into the deepest depression I think I've ever experienced in my whole life.
Yeah.
And here I am starting a new job. I don't want to get up and go to work.
Yeah.
I don't want to meet new people. I mean, you know what it's like to start a new
Yeah.
job, right? You got to meet people, foster a relationship with them. I'm dragging myself out of bed every day just to show up. People are looking at me like, what are you doing here? Like,
Yeah, why
who
would you?
who starts a job the week after
Yeah.
a company says they're going to sell? And I have to now try to foster these relationships. Probably the worst part is we just celebrated, my wife and I, our 17th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell you this was the worst moment in our marriage
Oh.
because of me, because of how I was showing up at that time, because I couldn't separate, because I couldn't stop thinking this was my big shot and it's been taken away from me. And, I think with any successful person who's achieved a level of success, there's an element of wanting to control and wanting to influence outcomes. And I had felt completely powerless.
Yeah.
I started to turn inward on little nonsense things, trying to control what I could in my life, but like to an OCD level, right?
Oh,
to a
wow.
level that was not healthy.
Yeah.
And my whole life crumbling around me. If not for the strength of my wife and frankly the friendly environment of this company that I just joined, the support of my boss, and a lot of executive coaching, shout out Jan Birchfield, PhD, got me through a lot of tough times.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the man I am today without their strength.
That's
And that spiral, it lasted at least 6 months. I mean, for 6 months, I felt like my career was over. If I wasn't careful, my marriage was going to be on the rocks. I was a crap father. And it felt hopeless. I felt like unfair. I felt like life was being unfair to me.
Did you somehow feel like, did you somehow feel like it was all of that, all of those feelings were your fault? Did you take the personal burden of that?
I didn't. Not to say I didn't feel regretful. So I was like, I
Yeah.
should have stayed.
Yeah.
I was doing fine, right? Like they liked me at my old job. It was a big company. I could have grown a lot there. I had just relocated for the job a couple of years prior, right? Like I had a path. No, I didn't feel like it was my fault. I felt like I had remarkably bad timing. Okay. I felt like I had remarkably bad luck.
Yeah.
Which is a word I try never to use. Yeah. Right? I'm like, you make your own time. You make your own luck. But then I was like, I'm here. And again, through the support I had around me, I started to make those relationships at work.
Yeah.
I started to figure out like, okay, what could I do to make a difference in this short time that I'm here? I started to be better at home and just find a level of acceptance.
Yeah.
And sure enough, about a year later, the deal that was supposed to happen fell through. Wow. And now here I am, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Right? Now, another deal had happened after that.
Yeah.
And I wound up with the company overall 3 years. But in that time, I made connections, I made a reputation, it springboarded me to other opportunities. Yeah. When that thing was done, it helped my my cachet, my Rolodex, everything.
Yeah.
Right. And it went from like the lowest of lows to a really high point that opened up even higher points in my career.
Yeah.
I mean, the thought that that was my moment and I'd never have one again is ridiculous. In the time, though, it's all I could latch on to.
Yeah, it's everything. And I think that's part of the issue with Crucible moments, right? Looking back on them, we have, retrospect, it's 2020, right? That hindsight is 2020. But in the moment, there's no, like, you can't see through the fog. It's like everything's crumbling, and getting through that is kind of, that's the most difficult thing. And it's honestly it's the reason we have people share these stories, because, if you had known then what you know now, you might have seen your way through that a little smoother.
I hate the way I showed up.
Yeah.
Like when I look back on those times, it borders on shame.
Yeah.
Because I like to think of myself as a stronger person than that.
Yeah.
Right? People see me as a stronger person than that. And I think, like, okay, so you had this interruption, and then you came crumbling down. Like, what's wrong with you, right? Like, when I look back, present day me looks back at that version, I'm almost embarrassed by it. I'm like, how did you let something like that impact you so profoundly? Yeah. And like most Crucible moments, that has changed me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Never again will I let anything like that impact me the way it did. Because let's face it, people have real problems.
Yeah.
Right? This was not that. Right? This was not, my family was healthy. I was healthy. Right? Like, this wasn't, this was nothing catastrophic.
Yeah.
And I always look back and I just hate the way I showed up.
Yeah.
Right. Now, thankfully, not that many people before now, I think, know about all that.
Yeah.
But when I think about it every day.
Yeah.
And I think about how I showed up more than even the moment itself, and say, never again. Yeah. You'll never do that again to yourself, to your family. And what I really learned out of that, again, through the help of so many people, but Jan, my coach, was, hey, you think you have a plan, you think you're controlling your universe, and you're floating in a river, and that river is going to go this way or that way.
Yeah.
And unless you learn how to go with that current and
Absolutely.
that flow, you're just fighting the water, right?
Yeah.
And if you fight the water long enough, you're going to drown.
Yeah.
So I'm a changed person ever since that. I look back at that moment and credit it for who I am today, how I face challenge today, how because of that, I hope never to have a Crucible moment like that again, because things bad might happen. But forever I am changed by the approach.
Yeah. No, I love that. I mean, so at the end of the day, and we say this often, there's no losses, just lessons. And that was likely a lesson, Rocco, you had to go through in order to get to this point. And I think that's the thing that we have to take from them, is even if the next moment isn't a moment as big as that, at least you can say, I'll tell you what my Crucible moment taught me was that I can get through whatever comes next. That's kind of where you're at, right? Like that's how you feel about it. If there was something that you wanted to kind of just impart, kind of a last parting shot that you'd want to say, hey, if you watch this story that I just shared, I want you to take this thing from it and apply it to your life, what would that be?
Yeah, it would be, no matter how successful and organized and a planner that you are, right? You are in a universe, right? And there's a certain amount you can control. We're not absolved of our own responsibilities, but you must acknowledge that, you live in a universe, and fate and God and the people around you have a deep impact on where you're going to go.
Yeah.
And you there's so many people who come up to me and say, "Oh, this is my plan for the next 5 years," and I say, listen, 1 year at a time,
Yeah.
right? Because I've never met anybody whose 5-year plan came through. So the thing I would take away from this is if you learn to go with the current, the ride is a lot smoother.
I like it. I like it. If you learn to go with the current, the ride is a lot smoother. I appreciate you, Rocco.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, absolutely.
It's a
Thanks
real
for showing
pleasure.
up here. That's all we have to say about that. There's a current. Learn to go with it. Ride is smoother, and I couldn't agree more. Thanks again for showing up for us for another great episode of The Crucible with Jeff Marshall. More to come, but until then, be safe, be well, and take care.
Thanks so much for watching this episode of The Crucible with Jeff Marshall. If you would like to be a guest on the program, let's be in touch. And be sure to stay connected with us through your favorite platforms. The Crucible with Jeff Marshall is part of the A Live Podcast Network and can be found in audio-only format wherever you listen to your podcasts. Production of this project was created by Gifted Entertainment, a full-service creative video production company.